Happy Sunday, everybody. I believe today's the 15th of April. Time is flying. Before you know it, it's going to be November. No, the 15th of March. Sorry, we're not in April yet. I'm pushing it, right? I'm pushing it. Before you know it, it's going to be April. Then it's May, June, July, August, September, October. Because the voting is the first week of November. So literally, it's like 6 months. That's what I'm talking right here. Listen, so thank you guys for the questions. I really appreciate it. I got a lot of questions. I'm going to do the prayers about noontime live for anybody that wants to join in. They've already been typed up and I already got all the prayers here. So if you send it again, it'll be next week. It's a lot of pages of prayers. I want to tell you guys something. You know, I normally don't like to interrupt recently deceased in their transition. Occasionally I can get a hit, but normally I try not to do that. So as you know, one of my favorites, Robert Mueller, passed away. And I was doing a prayer for him, praying for his transition to the other side. And he had Parkinson, which is a really tough death. And I could immediately hear his voice. Immediately, he was almost like, oh, thank goodness that's over with. Like he was so glad that he's no longer having to deal with this disease that he had. I mean, the poor guy struggled as it was. You know, he didn't even meet his children until he had a little bit of a reprieve of coming in to America, meeting his two girls, and then going back out to Vietnam. I mean, his wife must have been something. They were married for 60 years. So, and then as you guys know, terrible, terrible statement from Trump. Good, he says. You know, I'm glad he's gone. And of course, there won't be anything significant on Mueller's behalf because Trump is president. I know President Bush and President Obama gave him accolades and said he was a wonderful man, a serious man, a man that worked for our country. You know, I have a picture. It shows Robert Mueller in Vietnam holding his gun. Then it shows Donald Trump with a bowling a bowling little Emmy or whatever they call him, statue, a bowling statue. It's awful. But Mueller came in. I was very surprised. He was like, oh, so glad that's over with. You know, like the transition was very bad. I feel energetically he kind of knew what was going on in the world in body form. But he also didn't want to know, like the fact that Trump got in for a second term was very shocking to him. But when I caught him in spirit, I was getting from him that he said all this was getting ready to pass. And it'll be proven that Trump never won. That's what he said. Trump never won. So I think my feeling is that Elon Musk is going to be up in front of a firing squad. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying. A lot of trouble coming for Elon Musk. But it really broke his heart about Bill Barr. He just really, and you know Bill Barr and his wife loved him. They loved him. But I think Mueller knew a lot about Bill Barr that he never said out loud. Because you know Bill Barr's father was the one that hired Epstein with no background to be a big shot in some college. And I think Bill Barr knew the father was, you know, an underground pervert. So I feel Bill Barr is really sad. That's what I get. And it's like a day late and a dollar short, sucker. He has his own cross to bear. Mueller was, the reason I could even pick him up is because he was enlightened. He was You know, he'd served his dues. He believed in justice. Yeah, he did some things in his life he had regrets about. We're not going to say he was perfect, but I feel like where he's at right now is paradise. And he's extremely glad to be there because he suffered terribly. I could hear his voice exactly how he sounded. I asked him if he knew who I was when he was still in body, and he didn't. He didn't pay attention to any of that psychic stuff. He's like, yeah, whatever. But he was heartbroken about the Trump administration and the lies. And Bill Barr. Bill Barr changed his report. Bill Barr didn't want to know the things that Trump was guilty of. All this will come in a big bubble that's going to splash in their face. I'm getting something. Hold on, you guys. Don't lose faith, which they always say to me. I don't have much of a view from here because I'm newly evolved. But I can tell you that the calmness that I feel energetically with the highest of the highest is that this too shall pass. And all this represents a period that we were supposed to go through. Try not to focus too much on how much we hate him. Just know this war that he started with Iran is a big factor of why he's going to be brought down. He used the word love. Now, he didn't seem like a mush bucket, but he's sending love. You know, to me, he would be the type that a man, a few words, you know. I try to have him over for supper, asking him if he wants more cornbread, and he would just nod or something, you know. And I'd be like, bitch, speak up. But I get a real good, I kind of knew his soul was intact, but I got to tell you, with proof beyond a reasonable doubt, I can feel it. I can feel that angelic vibration. He's high up there. He's high up there. Now, the other person that passed that came straight to me, who I never followed, never went to a concert, nothing, was, oh, my ears are ringing now. Really ringing. There's an earthquake getting ready to happen somewhere. The one I felt really strongly was Tom Petty. He was like desperate. And he came to me. I don't know why, because but I grew to fall in love with him, with his music and, who he was. But there was such a sadness with him, because he grew up with that abusive father, that beats you bloody for looking at him the wrong way. We all know what that's about. So this brings me, okay, so hold on. Let's see what he says. Robert, I'm online right now with these beautiful people. Love is the answer to everything, as we know. I guess he couldn't eat, like he was unrecognizable physically, which I think does happen with Parkinson. I never really saw people with Parkinson because it was terminal, it was long. The people I dealt with were ER type patients. I did have an uncle that died of Parkinson's, and he had contracted with his leg so badly, it was up near his chin. And the mortuary tried to cut the muscles and stuff to bring the legs down so they could get him in a coffin. He didn't want no fancy schmancy Catholic funeral, and my auntie decided he would have a high mass. He was rolling in his grave. But they were able to get his legs down a little bit, but I'm telling you, it was pretty traumatic. But go ahead. Yeah, he says he was unrecognizable. When he left his body, and he was kind of like in that state, that vegetative state, and he was really happy to get out. Because I feel he was in pain. I don't know what the pain was about. It was hard for him. He was in a facility, and it was really, he could feel the anxiety and the heartache of his family coming to see him. He didn't really want anybody coming to see him, he's telling me. But because my physical look was so bad. And it was like, this was a strong man, a Vietnam vet. He didn't want people to see him like that. He's showing me going on his knees and going into prayer, kind of like thanking high angelic forms that are coming down. He has like some sort of sheath around his chest that he had before he took this body of Robert Mueller. He always knew he had a destiny, but the end was pretty sad. But at the end, now he's seeing that it really wasn't as sad as he thought, because he thought they made a fool out of him. And again, he was heartbroken about why did I go blank on his name? Barr. He was really like overwhelmed, and that's why he wanted to go in front of everybody and tell them, this is what we found, this is what we saw. So he's telling me that what Trump had to say about him makes no mind, no flags at half-staff. There will be something coming out for him. I don't know when, but I see, not with this president, but there'll be some sort of thing coming out for him. To put in the record, this man was a great man. He's like on his knees bowing before some sort of angelic forms. They're powerful. I wonder if one is St. Michael, because it has that look, He just didn't have a break. He suffered in this lifetime, but he suffered quietly, but he just never had a break. It reminds me of, like my family. My poor mom, rheumatoid arthritis by the time she was 12. And being poverty-stricken, being American Indian and treated terribly by the Catholic Church. That sadness that was with her. He was a really, really good guy. And I feel his wife really, really loved him. And I think he knew how to put his hat down. I think he knew how to enjoy. I know he went out to dinner with Barr and his wife. But they had other friends. The guy was a good communicator, but again, shy. Okay, so give us advice what we can do. Don't focus on the Trump as much as we are, which I've already been told 1,000 times. Because know that he's building up his own karma. It's very sad about Israel, because there's good people in Israel, but there's a lot of heartache coming to Israel. There is such a thing as Jesus. He just showed me Jesus. In this cleansing of the universe, we will become one. This disengagement that we're struggling with now will come together again. Honor the change. Thank the universe for what's taking place. Thank the higher powers, like I thanked for cancer, because it catapults my life. Thank it and say, thank you so much for bringing this heartache to us, because it's going to help us grow and become better people. They just said that Trump has a 40% approval rating. It's less than that. I don't care who says 40. It's not 40. That's why I'm not afraid with these people that are going to take over CBS and stuff, because did you see they dropped? Millions of people stopped watching them. And that's what's going to happen. They don't have enough people to jump on their parade. They're just not enough people are going to be there. So Robert, we need to be in grace for what's going on. Go ahead. I know it's going to be hard, you guys. Bite that bullet. Tell the universe thank you, because this will bring a glorious new beginning. Tell us us about the Iran war if you can. Let's see what I can get. He said more innocents will be lost. But they made an agreement when they first took these bodies to be part of the sacrifice. Thank you. He says, you know, Linda, how you talk about that with this heartache that like the Palestinians and certain nations go through, we often worry about, well, will they come back, the youngest who watched their parents be killed, will they come back and be terrorists? And he's telling me, no, the change is so big that's getting ready to take place energetically and spiritually with this awakening that's happening to us now, that'll help bring a better world. And I got to tell you guys something. I was on what's the name of our guy? what's the name? Nate. Nate had a guy on. Hold on, let me tell you his name. It's Chariot Palmistry. Chariot. And he had this guy as a guest on his show. And the guy's given all kinds of news because he's also a Vedic astrologer. And a lot of stuff he said has taken place. There's a lot of financial things we're going to go through, But this is something he said, and I was like, whoa. He said, our children and our grandchildren, hopefully us, you know, hopefully I get to touch this. I think I will. Are going to come into, because, you know, time frames we never know, are going to come into a much greater, happier. We're going to have peace. I mean, you think, how can we ever have peace the way humans are? But there's going to be a time of happiness. Maybe that's what was written in the Bible, which I don't know. But I've heard that there's some 2,000 years of happiness. Maybe that's it. But he said, we'll be so happy for our children and our grandchildren to live this beautiful life. We'll still deal with natural phenomena, you know, earth changes. You know, they keep talking about the guy that talks about the lady. They keep talking about, you know, when the missiles start going between Iran and the United States, or maybe it was Israel and Iran, that's when they'll be known. So we'll see. We could have the ETs coming in and say, y'all knock it off. Watch us blow up the White House right now. Oops. Was Trump still in there? Oh, Quincy B. I shouldn't wish bad. Sorry. So, all this stuff is getting ready to happen. And it's unfortunate. Remember when I said to them, why is this happening? They said, Linda, mankind has free will. And they need to see who he really is, because there's a lot of people. Well, first of all, he didn't really win. Elon Musk helped him win. But there's a lot of people who just can hardly believe. You know, there's people on the news. That one lady say, I can't believe I voted for him. So many people are apologizing. One guy said, though, I will never forgive them because my wife was on a medication to extend her life. And then Trump came in and canceled the medication and she died. I will never forgive you guys for this. So, and that guy who had a big Trump tattoo, they shipped him back to Cuba. Okay, so, Chariot Palmistry. I ordered a palmistry reading. I'm kind of fascinated with those. I don't really know much about them. But we'll see. I'll let you guys know he's good. But watch watch his show with Nath. I even wrote Nath. I said, excellent show, my friend. It can give you that little jab of hope you need. But it was so good because remember I told you guys, this too shall pass. Listen, wonderfulness is going to happen. They were telling me that, and like, you know, how do I go to you guys and tell you that when everything looks like crap? And by the way, it still looks like crap. So, I still don't get exactly the exit of Trump, but I do know so many people want him gone, physically gone. And it's not just Iran. There's a bunch of, underground people talking and conversing, and the FBI and the CIA is busy trying to listen to chatter. But they got rid of the people in there in the FBI that were real professionals at this. Cut your nose to spite your face. Okay. But thank you guys for all these questions. Let me begin. I need to add something else. Mueller told me when I was looking at him that it's unfortunate. There's a lot of people who were in the FBI that have nothing but goodwill towards him, really are kind of praying quietly to him. He wants them to know he can hear them, but they can't say it out loud for fear of what Trump will do to them. But he told them not to worry. He knows who they are and how they feel. There's a lot in there. So, okay, so we got our questions here. Yeah, see, like Grateful Garden, how long till the Felon family leaves? I see Trump having to exit stage left first, and then I see like Frankenstein marching, like when they went up on the hill to kill Frankenstein, the town did they were going to kill him. I get that about Jared Kushner. Listen, when Trump is gone, and we'll all talk about this later with our champagne and popcorn, when Trump is gone, I see anger. I see people, he better not put his name on anything, because nobody wants his name on anything. They want him O-U-T, out. Jesus, and they're going to have to hire all kinds of investigators. A lot of the people that left will come back. In fact, they'll say, "Hey, do you need us?" They'll say, "Yep, come on back." But I see Jared Kushner in trouble. He might try to escape with Ivanka, but I see them getting flagged down. I'm so excited. But we're not supposed to be gleeful, but I'm so excited. But it's like pitchforks. It's that kind of energy. They want all of them. They want and what's so interesting is the congressmen and the senators that were so pro-Trump, all of a sudden they're going to change. I told you that. I told you when the bill comes to be paid, they're all of a sudden, I really didn't like him anyway. Because they can't talk against him now. And they've been going to the Democrats saying, "Thank you for your work, but we can't say anything because we can't do that now." I know, part of the reason we do these shows, other psychics and myself, is to give you guys a little hope. And I know you're waiting like, "Okay, Linda, hello. Like, I'm still waiting for Gerard Butler to show up at the door. Hello, he never did. Anyway, there's a lot of things that are going to take place, and it happens bada bing, bada boom, because I see Trump having the exit, and I think it's before the end of the year. And then I see mass amount of people, especially Steve Miller. They're all going to take their suitcases to try to run, and they're going to catch him. Because so many people, it's not just our law enforcement, it's the people, the American people will not, like they couldn't be on a train or a plane without being recognized. They will say, they will hold them down. I'm telling you. They will fear crowds. Big time. It's getting ready to happen. Some of you can kind of see it, and don't worry, he's doing stupid things. He's telling Iran, Iran, just now they said their strike attempt reveals ballistic missiles. Iran's not going down like a little soft kitten. Iran is fighting, and they were the one that, hey, mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones that decided. Him and Netanyahu decided, oh yeah, we're gonna go in there and wipe them out, and then take their land and their oil, and let's just do this. And guess what? They got the wrong dinner party reservation, because there's not going to be any dinner party with that. Iranians will fight. They will fight, and even if they get their major people, like those two leaders, they will go for the families too. So it's unfortunate. I would hate to be one of them, living out the rest of my life, if I have a life, knowing that I'm being watched in the background, like they're looking for ways to hurt them. But down the road, I see a camaraderie, a beautifulness of peace. Yeah. Now let's talk about that Japanese Prime Minister. I feel she sort of kissed Trump's rump because she had to. But he was asking for something she didn't give him. She didn't give them ships. He wanted their help on something, but she just played it. She knew how to play him. Let me look, because Japan's not happy with her. Oh, and then he tells her, what did he say? Well, you guys didn't warn us about, you didn't warn me about Pearl Harbor, did you? Him. Now, I could have swore I was watching some documentary on the war, and they said Japan had done a message and that it ended up stuck somewhere and unable to go through. So I just did a chat thing to double check that. And it says the Japanese government prepared a long diplomatic message, often called the 14-part message, to be delivered to the U.S. It was intended to break off negotiations, not to clearly warn of an imminent attack. Crucially, it did not mention Pearl Harbor or give any direct warning. Japan instructed its embassy in Washington to deliver the message just before the attack began, but due to delays typing, decoding, and handling, the message was delivered after the attack. That's what I heard. That after the attack, they did get a message, but they never warned that they were going to hit Pearl Harbor. So wherever I thought I heard that from, obviously I was wrong. I'm glad I double checked it. But me? You didn't warn me? Was he even born? No, he wasn't even born yet. What a dummy. Okay, but I want to take a look at this Japanese, because Japan's not happy with her. Japanese people are very proud people. But poor Japan, they have zero population growth. In fact, it's minus. My son said they're just desperate for women to have children, but they don't even want a man. They want to have a career. People were upset. I don't know how she could stand the smell. Maybe she puts a little something, Vicks Vapor Rub or something in her nose. She likes to bring peace, you guys. She's going through a difficult time now in Japan. People are mad at her. But the best thing is she didn't give him what he wanted. She did not give him what he wanted. She's trying to explain herself. They were marching in Japan. They were all pro-Iran and yeah. But Japan is buying money from Russia. Buying oil from Russia. Yeah, she'll manage. She's not getting kicked out. She's not getting kicked out. She'll manage. I know people felt that but I don't think she'll go in for another season. Okay, you guys, where else are we going to go? Got to get this chat GPT off. I'm glad I double checked that. I like to double check because I got caught with my pants down a couple of times. I re-put something that was totally untrue and I didn't know it. Sounded true. And you got to be careful to not, keep the fake news coming. Someone wrote me and said that they had lived in Jerusalem, or they loved their home country, but said, Tel Aviv is just fine. It's doing just fine. There's nothing, it's not broken up, whatever. And yet, on Sky News and BBC and stuff, which is what I'm watching, all kinds of damage. But then again, I wanted to say, I didn't write the person back. You don't want to, they were already at their wits' end. But you want to say, really? Do you have any photos? Or can you take a photo without serving 5 years? I mean, why would Israel say, you take photos, we're going to put you in jail for 5 years? Unless they don't want you to know. That's like how Trump is. He doesn't want anybody to talk about his crimes. Oh, and I just heard, let's look real quick. I just heard that Trump is ordering on Monday for ICE to go into the airports. Oh, he's gleeful about that. He just wants to make people miserable. Tell me about ICE going into the airports. Somebody said, oh yeah, so little brown kids can't get to Disney World. It's going to be very difficult for them. I'm seeing like they would like to take certain people away or investigate, but it's so busy that I see it very difficult, and I see groups of people pitching a fit. It won't be easy for them. ICE in the airports, not very happy. People will not be happy. It's going to make people very restricted. Probably some people who shouldn't be traveling and take the chance will not travel now. Psychically, the moon says, maybe this will last one moon. This isn't going to last very long, because here's some good news coming. Okay? Money's going to come in, so money's coming in. Because the TSA people are struggling. And I can understand. They don't even have the gas to come in. But this will end when the money comes in. And when is the money? Tell me, when are we finally going to have the money for TSA? Because I don't see them staying any longer in the airports than they have to. Something with Trump is getting ready to happen in April. Some changes are taking place. I just saw another airline being blown out of the air. I see an airline being blown out of the air. Is it an airline or is it a military? It might be military. Oh, so I just heard this. I could be wrong. I just heard that the pilots aren't going to be happy about this, and the administrations in the airports, because they're going to be very gruff. You know how they are. And I almost feel, and I think I've told you guys this before, I feel the air stewardesses and the pilots within the airport are just going to shut it down. Even the airlines. I heard United is not a Trump. Southwest and United can't stand them. So I feel like certain airlines said, no, we'd rather not even fly than to have your people over here. They're going to do some stuff that's not considered civil. When will the TSA agents finally be able to get their pay? God bless them. I'm supposed to fly out in April. I don't know if I'll be able to. Yeah, we're stuck right now. Don't tell me it's not till September. Well, it's saying 2 weeks, 2 months. Coming out of a period of waiting. Here's the money coming in. Generous. This is a 2, but it's more like anywhere from May to September. But I'm seeing everybody stuck. Like they shut it down. Everybody's stuck. And then an agreement is made. That's one way for them. Hold on. Thank you. That's one way for them to be able to get back to on Trump. It's like, you know what? This guy can't go in here and bring these idiots in here with no proper background and just decide they're going to take over. Guess what? We'll just shut it down. And I see some incidents take place that really the public is up and just roaring. Now let's look at the big walk, the No Kings. What is that? March 26th or 28th? No Kings March. I signed up out here. Tell me about the No Kings March. Everybody be sure to join up. And it doesn't matter if the whole world was marching. I love how Rachel Maddow always shows everywhere where they were marching, but it doesn't matter because he'll say, oh, it did never happen. You know how he's totally... Something's getting ready to happen to him in April. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I can taste it. Tell me about the No Kings March. A lot of camaraderie, love, and devotion. People will be happy. People will be... This is like springtime. This is wonderful. Justice. People want justice. People meeting people, toasting of the cups. A lot of money given towards these events. Walking away. Yeah, but the devil thinks it's nothing. The devil would love to hurt us, but he's not going to be able to. Victory after burden. Keep moving forward. This is the July card. So keep moving forward. Look at this. Happy, happy, happy. And the communications. Everybody's going to be covering it. And they try to act like, well, you know, we're just peons. We're just civilians. They live off those, like what they call the ones in Russia, oligarchs. They live off the oil people and all that. But I see, by the way, price of gas is going to be up for a while, you guys. They just get you coming and going. But the price of gas, because we got to refill what we had to take out. Oh, very good question. CJ just said, will Speaker Mike Johnson get a shocker and lose his re-election in Louisiana 4th District? I didn't see him being Speaker. But that's because the Dems are going to win. And he was talking, did you see that? They heard him talking to someone else saying, oh, we're probably going to get, if we can pass this bill that they want to stop women from having rights to vote, we'll probably get it down to 18%. And you know what I said? Even at 18%, he's still going to lose. The Dems will still come in. Even if they stop a good portion of people from coming, the ones who do vote are going to vote the opposite of what they think. Will Speaker Johnson lose his re-election? There's money people around him trying to make sure he gets in. See that? So, well, let's see, you guys. There's money people that will help him with the money, which doesn't mean anything. Now, I asked, will Speaker Johnson lose his re-election, and this is the yes card. This is the yes card. But look at all this turmoil before that. He gets money, but I think he can't believe he lost, or he's very shocked. I think it's going to be a landslide. Because even the deep red places are voting people out. Yep. I hope this is right. I got the sun. And the sun means yes. I don't see 47 taking any unscheduled business trips because he has to. I'm telling you, the FBI and CIA are telling him, sir, just stand down. Because I feel the whole world is just TikTok waiting to take him out. Corey, you know that Dowski has been outed as taking kickbacks for DHS action. What does his future hold? Oh, he's in trouble, and I'll tell you, the one who really is angry at him is Trump. It's okay that he steals money, but no one else. He doesn't like Corey. He hasn't liked Corey. And I heard that the romance is over. And she's locked out of Mar-a-Lago. He gave her another position. What did I tell you when it was said that she got this new position? It wasn't going to happen. I'm telling you. Because she's supposed to work under Stephen Miller and Hedgehog. Oh, hell no. Ooh, this is another good. Let's look at Corey real quick. You guys asked some good questions. Corey's a child. He's got a passion, a little bit underhanded. He thought he was in like Flynn. He wanted to be somebody. But look, he's reversed. His karma's reversed. He's got money. He got money from someplace he stole it. Ooh, jail. Jail. He's going to be taken down. Might not be till next year, but he's going to be taken down. Okay, this was another good one. CJ asked, who was responsible for all the drones that were seen over military bases in the USA? Those drones that were seen over military bases. They didn't shoot anything because they knew that they would kick off Trump to nukes. That's how bad he can get. They're actually careful. Iran is very careful about, although they don't care about Israel. Tell me about those drones. They were trying to get information. They're taking pictures. Ooh, yeah. They weren't out to kill anybody or hurt anybody. Who belongs to... Oh, Russia? Russia had a part of this. They told them what to do. We'll find out who it was. We'll find out who it was. It's definitely Russia. Getting information. Even wanting to make them nervous. Okay, I wanted to ask about Trump saying you have 48 hours to open up the strait or we're going to come hit you harder than you've ever known with all kinds of stuff. Let's take a look. Tell me about the 48-hour with Iran. What are we looking at next week with Iran? They're going to let some people through, but it's not going to be American. He lied about they're asking him to come to, they're begging him to come to the table. He's lying about that. He's lying about that. There will be something that takes place, though, that makes us happy. There's the world not liking this. Here's an agreement. A little agreement, but not huge. God is in this now. Some sort of agreement. 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days. Some sort of agreement. But they're not just opening it up for him. They're kind of doing that red line and said, cross it. I dare you, cross it. So we'll see. I don't see horrible news, like the tower didn't show, the 10 of swords didn't show. So it feels like some good news is coming in. The TSA won't get checks this week, but I feel it's sooner than later. Yeah, pray for our Navy sailors and Marines. I'm going to do prayers at noontime, you guys. So I should probably come off this because it's almost noontime. Thank you for your prayers, and I'll be on. And I've got plenty of questions to, even if I want to go tomorrow. I'll be on with Mel, but it's his show, but I might come on with the rest of these questions. You guys asked some good questions. And I couldn't believe how well Mueller came in. He was right there. Just a wonderful man. I've always loved him. I always thought he always told the truth. And it's just a lot of people just didn't want to listen. So, okay, you guys. Love you all. Cheers.